Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Rayman Origins. As per usual, we're starting things off at the Snoring Tree, trying to find a suitable character for today's time trials. This guy's the right color for ice levels at least. So let's see what Bobble Dreamer says about him. Okay, I don't think Mr. Nose Ballad over here is gonna fit the bill. This dude, on the other hand, he looks like he can handle himself. He looks just messed up enough. Oh, look at that. This guy totally fits the bill. He's been messing with the Chili Pepper Gang. Don't mind if I do. You know, I think before we do that, we'll have to go back down to the Chili Pepper Gang. Give them what for. We need a little revenge. Can't have people force-feeding us farting beans, for goodness sake. So, as usual, we're gonna go with the tricky treasure first. This time it's called Ice Fishing Foe. Say, that guy looks awfully familiar. A pretty handsome fella, I'd say. Oh dear, ice physics. You know what that means. We already saw this in Gormont Land, and that was the hardest tricky treasure up until that point. That goes double for this one. It takes a lot of precise jumps to get through this. You have to jump at the very edge of each platform. You can't lose any of your momentum, and just when you get used to it, it throws water your way. I mean, this is by far the easiest section of the treasure map. But I've died here too. Oh boy, yes I have. That brings us to the final stretch, and oh boy, let me tell you, this is some hardcore stuff. It's only a couple of jumps until we get to the goal, but it still manages to be one of the hardest things in the game, I kid you not. If you jump at the wrong time, you die. If you lose any momentum, you die. If you make any mistake and try to adjust for it by dashing or whatever it is that you do, it's probably not going to work. So, at this point I'm just gonna say this is the hardest tricky treasure of the entire game. I'm probably gonna stand by that. We'll see. At any rate, I'm glad I don't have to go back there anymore. And we can start with the time trials. And guess what? They're all so terrible. Dragon Soup. I got the first screen down pretty well. Did a little mistake here. Could have gone up there faster. And the biggest issue with making small mistakes early on is that everything in this level is on the same cycle, so depending on what the timer is when you get on this screen, the beans are in different positions. You can imagine what that does to a speedrun. If previous levels had that, I never noticed. It's just much more difficult to do things consistently in this one. I found out that if you dash through these funnel shapes, you can keep your momentum, which is pretty useful. And furthermore, these things have downward slopes, so that helps you a lot. But once again, depending on what time you enter the screen, they may be the other way around. You may not get the boost from them. Same goes for the pepper mills over here. They may be vertical, they may be horizontal. If you're not constantly paying attention to the timer when you enter a screen and know where things are going to be, it's gonna be different every time. And that's why I don't ground stomp down from here, because too many times I've fallen into the lava. So ultimately, you're left with no choice but to just run for it and improvise as you go along. Unless you can do it with 100% accuracy every time, which I can't. Loads of messing up towards the end there. And I can't say I'm too happy with my time, but I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. I spent a lot of time mapping this level out, trying to find a perfect path, but since every little mistake would screw you up completely, it stopped being fun very quickly. Fickle Fruit is not gonna be a very impressive run, so apologies in advance. Right at the start, we could jump on those 3 platforms there, and up here, and clear them really fast, but let me tell you, it's really hard to pull off. I didn't manage to do it even once during recording this. And then we're small, and being small, I don't like being small. It changes the controls, as you know. I don't feel comfortable with it, and with all these oranges floating about, I'd really like to have control over everything. Oh, jeez, are you serious? You know, that's how it pretty much goes all the time. It's either that, or get crushed by an ice block because your character won't move. And if you want the cup for this level, you don't have a lot of time. It's actually one of the least lenient ones. It really forces you to move fast. Yep, lots of tiny little mistakes here and there. Those jumps over the spikes, you have no idea how many times they killed me. Man, I really should have pressed through the orange, taken the upper path right after the second set of spikes, but you know what? Once again, this is one of those levels that never seems to go right for me. So, this time, we'll just take it, we'll just take what we got, we'll move on. So my final thoughts, it's a good world to play casually. But the speedruns, too much time spent when you're small, too many variables to take into account, not my cup of tea. Next up, we're gonna dive into Angsty Abyss. It's a pretty cool world. But right now, I want to show you guys something weird that I found out recently. Instead of a speedrunning thing, we're gonna take a look at the tricky treasure map. So there I was, playing the level, about to start it, and then the phone rang, something happened, I pressed escape, I pressed Alt-Tab to check out something, and when I came back, this happens. I have no idea what causes it, and it only works if you Alt-Tab out from the game. I believe the game thinks you're moving to the right because of the ice physics, or something like that, but I really couldn't say. Also, the music flag is right there. And I don't think we need the treasure to finish this course. I mean, we can do this well on our own. So let's leave the treasure back there and just get stopped by this ice pillar. Man, they really thought of everything, didn't they? So we'll make our way back, if we can. It's nice that the ice blocks actually stay down here, but how are we gonna get over this orange? Well, we're not gonna get past it. We're just gonna die. Well, I did try it again. I didn't go past the 2 oranges because I didn't have a heart. Just wanted to see how the game reacted to something like this. Oh, the game cheats. Figures. And that's all I have to say about that. See you next time.